What is going on, guys? Datcoopguy here, and today we're going to be checking out another Druid build. This one is going to be more of a Storm Caller build, as I like to call it. So in general, this one got a huge buff recently with its Lightning Storm ability. So I took a little bit of time, waited it out, and the patch day has come and it has gotten buffed. So let's talk about the talent tree and dive into the abilities. The first one that you're going to want to get is Storm Strike. Not only does this do a good amount of AoE damage, but it also gives you a minor damage reduction every time you do an attack with it. From there, you're going to want to get the enhanced version to where it has a chance to immobilize the enemies, which is very good because this is more of a spellcastery build. And then after that, you have a chance of making enemies vulnerable, making it to where they take a 20% more increased damage. And the main bread and butter of this, the Lightning Storm ability. Makes it to where you do a massive amount of damage per strike with a lightning storm and have it to where it can channel up multiple different lightning strikes. It's more of a channel-based ability, so you hold down your right click or whatever your action button is, and it will do some massive damage. From there, we're going to increase the size of it. If it's held down for more than 4 seconds, this will make it to where ad clear is a lot easier, and we're going to make it to where it does an additional lightning strike. From there, you're going to want to pick up Cyclone Armor. Armor is very nice because it has a passive that makes you take just 10% flat damage reduction, but it also gives you a knockback. Since we're a spellcaster, we don't want them on our person. But between this and having Storm Strike, we have a pretty good amount of damage reduction on top of our character. From there, we're going to have it to where they are also slowed after they are knocked back, so it really keeps them off of us. And on top of that, has a chance to make them vulnerable for 3 seconds. From there, you're actually going to pick up Poison Creeper. Basically, what our whole job is pushing them back, holding them in place, while we're channeling them lightning strikes. And that's exactly what this does. It not only does that, but it also gives them a poison-based damage. Having it to where it does a passive, where every once in a while will erupt and give poison damage, and on top of it, we can immobilize them. From that, we're going to increase the duration just so they're held in place longer, and have it to where we have a 20% chance of crit when that is happening, so keeping them in place, keeping the lightning strikes going on. Then we're going to pick up Hurricane. Hurricane is a nice one that will also deal a lot of damage out to the surrounding enemies. From there, we're going to also pick it up to where enemies are slowed, again, keeping them off of us. And on top of it, it makes it to where they do less damage. Everything's all about the damage mitigation, but also keeping them off of us. From here, I have 2 additional points. Your character will probably not have this when you're first leveling up. The only reason I have it is because of me doing all of the different items and things out there, so I have 2 extra points. You will not have that, but if in the event that you do, you're going to want to put 1 point into Elemental Exposure, making it to where they have a 10% chance to make enemies vulnerable. All about making everything more and more vulnerable. And then, from there, you're going to want to choose Charge Atmosphere. This makes it to where every 18 seconds, a lightning bolt hits a random enemy, making it to where they do some massive damage. So that's the whole synergy of this build. Lots of damage reduction, and on top of it, lots of AoE and big-time damage. So we're going to jump into some combat and show you how it's done. Alright, so jumping into combat here, we're actually going to go ahead and attack this bear here. The big thing to keep in mind is, as you can see there was a lightning strike that randomly struck down that enemy. It will constantly happen, so if you're trying to prepare for a fight, I wouldn't recommend having that perk. But I mostly just charge into enemies and kill everything in my path anyway. See, I'm trying to find enemies. Right now, the server's being a little bit laggy due to the game officially just now releasing. There we go. We're going to do that. We're going to hold them in place. Do a little knockback here. And, well, they're dead. Let's see if we can pick ourselves another big fight. Actually, the cellar would work out perfectly. We're going to go over here, do a hurricane attack. Do a few attacks with this. Hold down our lightning strikes. And there you have it. Everything's dead. We're going to do the cellar too. Why not? Just to really show you guys how it's done. Jumping into the cellar here. We're going to go in here. Going to pop our ability there. Holding them in place. Accidentally get hit by that ability, but that's okay. Right now, we're just going to basically charge up our ability and channel. Do a few slam attacks. The most important thing is making sure that you have that buff up at all times. Then from there, we're going to hold them in place and do that. do a little knockback, add Hurricane on top of there, and everything is dead. So as you can see, the big thing is Spirit regen is going to be our biggest issue that we're going to have to focus on in the future. But other than that, it's mostly just holding them in place, knocking them back if need be, and also making sure that we gradually, over time, add that Hurricane in there, especially in dead periods where we're still generating our lightning storms. Alright, so let's talk about the general tips. Basically, in general, you're going to want to focus on lots of different mitigation of damage. As you can see, I was taking a lot of different hits here and there, so making sure that we have that negation is very important. That's why Cyclone Armor actually does the trick really well, and we're going to need that to make sure those enemies are off of us. So Cyclone is good for that knockback, and then we have our root here of Poison Creeper, which gradually increases damage as well if it's poison that every once in a while pops up, but also keeps them in place, so that way it sets up for a Lightning Storm. Preferably wait till you have a good amount of essence stacked up with Lightning Storm before you pop this ability. Hurricane you want to pop anytime that you have what I call a dead period, where you're going to be using lots of Storm Strikes in the meantime to make sure that you are generating that. So make sure you pop your Hurricane and have it to where they deal less damage on top of it with Storm Strike to partner up with a very good amount of damage negation on top of that. Obviously, Storm Strike will be your biggest attack buffer that you'll need in there. If in the event that you do get into a fight where you need to switch into a more range-based option as well, because it gives you vulnerable. But anyways, guys, I wanted to thank you guys for watching and checking out one of my Druid guides. Now that the game has officially launched and the first couple of patches are happening, I hope I'll be able to start doing some Barbarian, Rogue, and Sorcerer guides, but currently they seem to be changing the classes around a lot. So I'm kind of sticking to just Druid and Necromancer for now. We'll wait and see these next couple of patches with Season 1, and then from there I'll be able to do the early leveling guides for them and the in-game builds for all of the other characters out there. I want to thank you guys for watching. Also, be sure to keep checking those patch notes with the release. I'm sure there's going to be lots of different builds that are going to be changing around all over the place. I just wanted to showcase this one, as this was one of the classes that got a big old buff recently, and it seems to be doing really well, especially ad clear and boss clear. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.